So one of the things that I often get is if someone starts, so you've pointed out in your article when someone insults you, if someone says sarcastically nice shoes, you go, right, yeah, I know, man, they're pretty good. You accept their frame, or you go on and you say, like, what about your shoes? They look like you borrowed them from your grandma or something. And but you say with each interaction, don't show emotion, just show like easygoing, and also it makes it easier for you to come up with a comeback. And would you say you delay it a bit? Because a common tactic that comedians do when they're dealing with hecklers is they repeat what the heckler said, so that they come up
Mhm.
with a comeback.
Yeah, okay. That's an interesting technique. It can work sometimes. It can give you some time to think about it. At the same time, it goes back to what we said before, that it threat expands, right? Because often the heckler doesn't have a microphone, right? And sometimes you have. Even if you don't have, the heckler is just a nameless, anonymous guy sitting in a row, and you are on stage, so you have more power. The moment you repeat what the heckler said, you also empower his message. So I will be careful with that technique. I won't necessarily recommend to do it. So if you think that what he said is good, or if you think that you can build upon it, if you think it's value adding, if you think that you can make a good joke out of it, or a bit more Machiavellian way, if you think that you can own him easily, then yes, absolutely. Repeat it even twice. You can even say, blah, 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 you said this, right? And let him confirm even more, right? However, if you're not sure about the comeback, or if it's value taking for you, then it might be a better idea not to repeat it, and either to close that topic or to move to someone else.
Okay, and what? Okay, if you can see that it's they've said something that makes no sense and it makes them look weird or stupid, then you repeat it.
Yeah, it could be a good idea. Yeah.
But then,
If you're okay, at least with making fun of the person, then yes, yeah.
and in another sort of instance, you could maybe just pretend that they said something else that made them look
Absolutely, man. That's a great game to play.
because people
Yes,
can't hear them.
absolutely. And that works even better if you're already in a bigger stage, because what happens is that if you're in a bigger place, then the heckler says something, ooh, he hears him. It's like the two, three people close to him, and that's it. That's 1%. You got the 99% with the microphone. You could just twist what he says or completely change what he said. Who's gonna catch that? Nobody will. It's a bit of a Machiavellian ploy, Machiavellian way of going about it, but there is no real victim there. So I think it's totally fine.
And then when they try and like get defensive and say, "No, I said this," and they get louder and louder, what would you say then? You say, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were that excited about it. What's your number or something?" Or what
Yeah, that's a great way. That's a great way. And always remember, you've got the power. And that guy, even if he screams more, if it's a big place, it's still 2-3% of the people who hear about it. It's like, oh, what this guy's saying is butt hurt now. You can keep also making fun of him.
And with those sort of situations, so you give them.
So sorry if I get here. That is a classical frame battle, by the way, is that he wants to repeat what he says, and you want to stick to your misinterpretation, right? If you think that you need to listen to his frame, then you're probably gonna end up in his frame, and then you're gonna end up being a follower. Just stick to your thing. It's like, no, no, you say that. It's a bit of a Trump does this a lot, right? But it's fair to do. You keep pretending that he said what you said at first, and then it's you against him, and you on the stage have more power. So in the end, you're most likely going to win that one.
And the whole point of the frame is to try and frame it in a way that it suits your world or something. So if someone tries to say that, set the frame, "Oh, you're a bum, you stink," or whatever you say, well, at least I had a shower yesterday. Look at you. Or you say like you change the situation, or you change the situation. Why are you asking about that? What happened to you today? You have to try and sort of reverse the situation. Are you saying that whoever gets defensive and accepts the situation as it is loses the frame, and then that person has the power in the interaction?
Yes, in a way, absolutely. And what I want to clarify here is that we're discussing frame of one against another. And I
Yeah.
think that's a mistake that unluckily happens often because there is not much information about frames and not much good information. And every time it ends up being about whose frame wins, who dominates, me against you, right? I hold the frame, my frame is stronger. It doesn't have to be that way. Actually, the best frame, the best relationship are more collaborative, right? Let's find a way to add value to each other. Let's find a way to negotiate for win-win. I understand that with hecklers, it doesn't end up being like that often, right? Often
No.
it's more my frame against yours, who one-ups each other. However, that doesn't mean that sometimes you cannot find a way to vibe with the heckler and have a good back and forth, which is win-win, right? So let's not preclude the
Yes.
possibility of building something together because sometimes it could end up being something beautiful.
And I think that's probably a big problem with a lot of us as individuals. We try and have power in the other way. We don't think. I think the biggest thing is not most of us don't see the other side, and we don't see a situation where we can both benefit. We just think of ourselves, and we don't think of
Yes.
because if they say in what's it called, the Dale Carnegie or was Andrew Carnegie book, he says if you feel power, you make someone feel low, they're going to resent you, and you've created sort of an enemy for a while.
True, true. Yeah, very true. Yes. There are exceptions even there, I think it's called the Stockholm syndrome, right? So sometimes if you overpower somebody or dominate somebody, they'll start liking you because humans are also like that. But many times it's like you say, yes, if you overpower people, then likely they start to resent you. To go back to an example, right, where you can use win-win, if somebody makes a joke about your mothers and, if you're cool with it, if you don't take it personally too much, which I think generally is a good idea, not to take things too much personally, then you could just say, "How was she, man?" Just throw something back at him, see what he comes up with it, and maybe you can build something cool together.
And then it's more positive, like she's been beating me for the last week.
Yeah, you can end up in this all sort of cool ways and all sort of nice situation that you hadn't even thought about it. And by the way, in case he cannot come back with anything cool, then the heckler has been neutralized anyway, right? And then you can take it back and build back up, or you can bridge back to the material you had prepared.